All right, Dominick Izzo, the bull of MLM Network Marketing Warfare Podcast, coming to you with another episode today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing to our YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, however you're listening, this podcast covers everything in the network marketing world, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything you need to know to wind up truly helping your business out. I have Nicole Matthews with me today, network marketing professional. We're going to be talking about, again, the industry. What direction did you want to take today? We want to talk about, I know one of the things we talk about is, the duration of your staying, but alignment is something you want to talk about, right?
I do want to talk about alignment.
All right. So explain what that even means for me so I can understand that.
So alignment is both parties coming into agreement to decide this is actually wholesome and this will move both of our owners' intent forward. Okay.
Run with that for a second, because when you're talking about both parties deciding, one of the things that we notice about network marketing is you have, I watched a fucking mentor, or not a mentor. I've been in 3 companies. One was only for a few months because I didn't like the way the leadership was going. And I watched this guy, call people on the phone. What do you mean you don't want to make $1 million? What do you mean you don't want to do this? So there was the pressuring, right? And the pressuring, you're not going to get alignment when you're putting pressure on someone, which is a very heavy tactic that is used, especially with your friends and family, to get people having a clear state of mind. So is this something that from the grounded position, the floor level, that people need to be on the same page with? Is that where you're kind of leading with this?
Yes, I'm glad you brought those things up with your former MLM. So let's explore that a little bit. Let's talk about what all MLMs have in common. Okay, so all MLMs have the same things in common. They provide schedule flexibility, financial freedom, unlimited earning potential, the ability to curate community, and then tax deductions, right? They all offer the same things. It changes in how they administer that service and then what product they're using. So one of the qualifying questions you should ask, and you should view MLMs like any employer. So an MLM, it creates an opportunity for you to be a contractor, basically, but they're still an employer of sorts. So just like you wouldn't take a job offer from this like gross, aggressive, ugly boss who just like yells and pressures you to do things like, here's a deadline, here's a deadline, here's a deadline. Go do the same thing with an MLM. If you wouldn't work for this in a traditional W-2 job, don't do it with an MLM.
We know that most people come into the business, and there's a lot to that. In the beginning, I need the kick in the ass, right? And I talk about one of my favorite employers ever was a man who owned a bar that I worked at. I came from corporate, TGI Fridays, and that was, back in the 80s and the 90s, Fridays was one of the restaurants that set the standard for restaurant training. It was very grueling, and it was also very customer service based. At the end of the night, whenever you had to fix your sugar caddies and your salt and pepper and condiments, I remember my closing managers would come by and they would go, hey, maybe this here, and I would go, okay. When I got when I worked for the independent owner, he would come up and be like, get this shit done, move that there, blah blah blah, and people would go like, oh my God, how can you work for him? And I would say, because there's no uncertain terms about what he does or doesn't want. He's being extremely clear about the directive he's giving me. He's not being passive aggressive. I like that. When people are entering in MLM, do you find that a lot of people, the rein is too free without directions? And does that cause most of the failure that we see, because a lot of people just aren't self-starting entrepreneurs, and they're, we know how it is. They're brought in. So many people say, you can't make income claims, but so many people do it. They lie. Do you think that people are brought in under a misguidedness and then they fail because they're not getting that I don't know, that harshness? Or should that be part of the alignment to begin with? To tell people, listen, I'm going to be hard on you. I'm going to be pressuring on you. Where are we screwing up in this industry?
I'm so glad you brought this up. So I made some notes, and I want to go over the first 5 questions you should ask an MLM, and it goes into this very thing that you just talked about. So before you can ask an MLM to do anything for you, you need to know your own self. So what are you about? So having a clear understanding of what you want to see out of your life and why you're doing what you're doing. So I'm going to use myself for an example. I want two things out of my life. I want to be a work from home mom, and I also want to see people healed. So every decision I make based on those two statements, this is called Creating Your Owner's Intent. It's from author Casey Graham. He wrote the No Business BS book. He teaches how to create your mission statement. So first you have to create your mission statement. But then once you have that mission statement, you need to go ask these 4 or 5 questions from your MLM. Mm-hmm. And one of those goes into what you're talking about right now is training. Does this MLM provide product training and support? And you mentioned this a week or 2 ago on one of your other podcasts, that hype is not training.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Group therapy is not training. And so we're seeing this fallout. I mean, what's the stats in this industry? Like 85% of people quit.
97% failure rate. It's been like the standard for 30, 40 years. It's in the upper 90s.
Yeah. So we're seeing this for 2 reasons. One, people don't know how to make goals, and they don't know how to define their own goals. And 2, there is not training. There is product education, but let me be very clear. Product education is not training. So it takes leaders like you in the industry, and the podcast you did last week, I cannot remember her name. She was incredible. They need educators like you to teach you the difference between sales and marketing, and here's how you accomplish these goals. And you have to do the work. There's this misleading sales tactic that if you just share your product while you're sharing your life, people will purchase, and it's not true. It just isn't true. How you share matters, and that's where sales training comes in. And that's a whole different thing.
Oh yeah, we'll go in all those directions. Yeah, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but it was Elaine who was from the podcast last week.
Yeah, Elaine, she was incredible, and she was exactly right. And I loved what you two talked about, which is hype is not training. Education on your product is actually not training. It's education.
And that's what the industry, that's why the industry fails. And before we continue on, that's right there is we do this. Sales is a part of, I can't stand rapport building because it's disingenuous. And I've talked about this to where I know nothing about you, but if I'm prospecting you, I'm going to go to oh my God, Nicole, I went to your website, and Nicole's website is rawtruthcompany.com, by the way, rawtruthcompany.com. And I see you're into life coaching. I'm into life coaching. And then we build this faux connection. I recruit you into the business because your guard is a little bit dropped. You don't do the business, or what, Nicole, why have you not called people? Why have you not got me on the phone? And you're going to leverage that friendship we built. So I'm not a fan of it, but so many people leverage the emotions because everybody just wants to be heard or seen. And the network marketing industry is creating this guru worship of, oh my gosh, so-and-so, they're going to take a photo with me. And it doesn't have this training. And I loathe what's been going on, and we need to address this.
We do. And I am glad you have said that, because rapport is actually not the same thing as meeting needs. If you're actually serving your product, rapport doesn't matter because it's meeting their need, whether you know them or not. And rapport is an excuse, or it's kind of like, I don't have a good analogy for this, but rapport is one of those things of like, let's pick the colors for your website and let's not sell your product. That's what rapport is.
Yeah. That makes sense.
What is actually serving your people is saying, hey, I see you have this service. Would it help you if you had another avenue to share this product?
Rapport is kind of like enabling a belief or a feeling.
Yeah, that's actually not service. Serving your people means sharing your product. So as we've all been in MLMs, it's like, okay, why are you actually building rapport? Is it to increase your numbers? Is it to increase your following count? Because followers don't equal customers.
No, they don't.
And it might in the future if you're good with your communication skills, but rapport is not the same thing as sales. And it's not the same thing as a team member.
And I always look at it like we talk about my teammates. I don't know, because there are people who come in my team, and I'm off the beginning. In the beginning, I always tell them on the phone, listen, whoever you see online, that's who I am. But this is business, and I'm very aggressive. You know, I'm here to make you money. That's how I make my money. I'm here to make you succeed. And when they get to be upset, you know, I've had people on Zoom meetings like, you know, why are you pushing us so hard and this and that? And I would say, yeah, I don't know a CEO of any company that sits with his board or her board and says, you know, all right, tell everybody, I want to hear what's on your hearts today, guys. And granted, there's a time and a place for that, but not when it's, when your sole job in capitalism is to make money to better the lives of the people who wind up working for your company. So yeah, I align with you on that. I mean, I believe in compassion. I believe in empathy, but I don't believe in sympathy or lying to people to get them, you know, emotionally aligned with you in that aspect.
Yeah, and there's been this shift in culture where empathy has been equated to apathy, where, oh, they're just having a hard time, so we don't have any expectations of them. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That is not true. You can be going through something hard and still succeed. You can be going through something hard and still share your product with value. Hardship does not equate time off. It doesn't. Should you let your upline know? Should you let your people know? Sure. But this is the time when your team should rally around you and say, okay, how can we help you achieve your goals? Not go take some time off.
There's no,
it's sassy about this.
No, it's good, because the problem is that most here I teach 3 C's of network marketing, where I teach cash flow, commerce, and culture. And the culture is my least favorite part. I'm about the cash flow. Commerce, yeah, you know what? I will never ever compete with somebody on a product line, right? Because our bodies are different, and you know, somebody has this product that's I love this product, that's great, and I also look at it as, well, what if you're with a company that closes in 10 years? You know, for me, the business model is always the most important to pitch. When it comes to the culture, I seed it forever. It's a giant circle jerk of back rubbing, hugging, and tears, and life-changing, with, again, 3% succeeding and moving forward. I don't know why the network marketing space attracts so many people who are drawn to this culture of perpetuation of, well, if Nicole's feeling bad, I'm feeling bad, so we're going to celebrate wallowing with our negative emotions in a business, and we don't work it. I see just a lot of that. It's just a reinforcement of, oh, you're in a bad mood, and gossiping and all. It's just the culture of network marketing. It's never been about business. It's always been about making people feel good, and I've never seen that turn a profit. That needs to be. That's got to be an alignment of negative reinforcement.
Yeah, and this gets to be, people don't like it when I say this, but it is true. Sales is behavior modification. So if like what you're doing isn't bringing in sales, then you have to change something. And that might mean, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, that might mean changing companies. That might mean you need to change your communication style. That might mean you need to do some more personal development. But personal development does not mean time off.
Change your sales is say that again. I've never heard that phrase before.
Sales is behavior modification.
Expand on that a little bit. I like that.
So I first learned about this in the insurance world because a company I was familiar with, it was an insurance company. They offered these incredible rewards to their sales associates, where if you sold X number of dollars of policies per year, you got these trips and prizes and rewards. And incentives are sales. Okay, so like you want to be at the top of your company, cool. You're not just going after this price value or this dollar amount. There's also these rewards that you get with it. But what do these rewards show you? That you're doing the right work to get the reward. So let's take kindergartners, for example. I have 2 little kids, right? 3 and 4. If I want them to do something good and they continue to do something good, guess what? They are rewarded with a treat. Mm-hmm. So like if you go clean up your room and I don't have to tell you to, or you help your sister in a very loving way, I'm going to go give you 3 M&Ms, right? Sales is the same way. You have communicated with your customers. You have made this valuable to them. You now get paid for this.
You would think that the pay is incentive alone for that behavior. We see the network marketing industry, it breeds or hopes to breed true entrepreneurs who become leaders. It doesn't happen. It blows me away how, the pay, there's studies out there that show that I think in 2017 or between a period of time, I think of maybe 10 or 12 years, it's like $1.6 trillion in commissions was paid, which you're just not going to find that. You have these people, and it's all Googleable. You go research the top network marketers in the world, and you'll see a list of about 1,000 people plus, and that's a small number in percentage, right? That are making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month. The top network marketing professionals is a husband and wife couple that make $2.2 million a month. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me is all the incentive I need. But how is it that we are this industry that gives an opportunity for people to be entrepreneurs, self-driven, self-motivated, and the reward is this insane amount of money. There are other aspects, you can change people's lives and improve the lives of others in many ways, but people still need a behavior modifying reward system in order for them to pick up the fucking phone.
Yeah. So I would say it's the disconnect, and the reason why people quit is because of how they're taught to share. And we can talk about work ethic, but if you're doing the same bad behavior over and over again, but this is what you're told to do to increase sales and it's not working, then it makes you feel like you're the failure. So this is not to blame the individual. This is not to blame just the individual, but how we're talking about achieving sales. If you join an MLM and they just tell you, okay, share your product while you share your life, and then you don't see sales, well, then you feel like you have failed your company and that you have failed your highest potential. And it's not true. What is true, though, is that your communication skills, how you're serving your clients or your audience does need to change.
And that's where most people get uncomfortable because there are no people who sit there and when they recruit say, listen, this business is about influence. It's not about leadership. It's about influence. You are positively influencing. You become the marketing material to get people to find the value in your product or service. Run with that for a second. Talk about the importance of that. And again, the difference between enabling emotional negativity and then how do people, because you hear it all the time, I'm not a salesman. I'm not a salesman. I'm not a salesman. Or I disagree. Everyone's selling everything every day of their lives.
Yeah. So my experience with sales completely changed when I took a sales training course because I launched my life coaching practice. And I was like, all right, I need to get a better grip on this because if I'm going to try to launch a practice, I need to figure out how to communicate with people well in a way that they want to purchase life coaching packages. And so I had a come to Jesus meeting about sales and what sales actually is. And sales ultimately is service. And I'm not saying that in a cheesy religious way. I truly mean if you have your owner's intent, hard stone, like this is like sandblasted in the tombstone, this is your owner's intent. You can go find an MLM that reflects that. And then you can go serve your people from that place of conviction. The podcast that you did where y'all talked about, did movies ruin love? And y'all talked about the difference between chase and pursuing. Same tactic, different energy.
Okay.
When you are serving from a place of conviction and you are sharing from a place of conviction versus trying to convince somebody to buy your product so you can make some money, these are two different things.
Isn't that the same old adage of do what you love and the money will follow, and people just don't understand it? I mean, like if you and I owned a restaurant and we were, fighting over not making money. And my view was we have to get people in here to buy, these dinners so we can make money. And your view is, no, we have to actively try to feed people. It's the same goal, but two different perceptions. And your method is actually more giving and servicing to the people, which is going to create a different energy and outcome.
So can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
I did have a restaurant. The way I got to this region where I live now is my mom's opened a restaurant, and I was like, oh, let me help you. I don't have a food service background, and I'd been catering at the time. And then when I took over the restaurant, I was like, okay, we need to evaluate our sales. And in the same way that you're talking about serving your customers, if your menu items aren't paying rent, you're going to have a decrease in sales. So when I took over, I completely edited the menu and streamlined it down to what people were actually buying, and our sales went up. So your customers will tell you what they want. It's, are you willing to swallow your pride and figure out and adjust to what they're telling you?
What is it now? If we're sticking on the topic of alignment, that's a huge thing. That's pride, right? My tactics aren't working. I want to kind of going into the beginning, because I could see the biggest, we're talking about stuff that once people are involved in, and we do have a lot of people who are with other companies that listen, and they're not getting the education they need, again, too, if anyone does want to contact you, drop that first. How can they get a hold of you?
The place I spend the most time is Instagram. So if you send me a DM and to @RawTruthCompany, there's going to be this chick with blue hair that answers your question.
It's Raw Truth Company on Instagram, Raw Truth Company on Instagram. If you like anything that Nicole has to say, make sure you reach out, DM her, and align with her. What is this business is the simplest thing in the world, right? It's you contact, invite, show a plan, follow up, and then you repeat that over and over and over again. And I tell people, in my opinion, if they can master the invitation, their business will explode. That being said, is there a perpetual mindset that people need to have to stay aligned with balancing new prospects and their current team members that they have to, kind of drag across that goal line every month?
Yes. And that is patience.
Oh, my strong suit. Not even.
Right. We're not born with this, but we are built to do this. And this is where grit comes into play. And in a little bit, we can talk about when you should shift in an MLM, like when these values aren't aligned anymore. Okay. But what we should talk about right now is grit and stick-to-itivity. If you are fully convicted in the product that you have and your owner's intent, if this MLM allows you to do those two things and you're not getting sales, be patient. Tweak your messaging. Hold on just a second.
Good. We have Nicole Matthews from Raw Truth Company joining today. That's rawtruthcompany.com. You can contact her at Raw Truth Company on Instagram as well, too. That's a big, somebody's got to be at the front door. My view, as we're waiting for this to come back, is that it's a big balancing act in the network marketing industry where you are nonstop recruiting, training, and training. And it is, it's a big, big balancing act.
Okay. I think we're back.
All right. Give me 2 seconds. But yeah, that's a big balancing act.
So I think because MLMs are promoted in a way that says just share and people will follow, we lose our patience.
Oh, I don't mean to interrupt you. That's all I ever had. I was with Juice Plus for 10 years, and it was every millionaire that ever did one of the hotel lobby meetings or the room meetings, just share the plan. Just share the plan. And I would ask, there was a couple from California. They made $1 million, $1.3 million a year. So how did you do it? Well, we just showed 3 people the plan a day. Okay, but how did you do it? We just showed 3 people the plan a day. And in my mind, I'm going, but it's not that simple, because I'm thinking, you ever try to get somebody to watch a movie that you liked, and they're like, yeah, I'll get to it. Or now, like, my sister's infamous for this. Oh, look at this meme. She'll come over and she'll have her phone out. Oh, you got to check out this meme and this meme. And I'm like, dude, I'm busy. So getting me to do something, view something, or partake in something, that's the process. So I was like, what time of day do you talk to people? Do you interrupt them in the grocery store? Do you email? Do you call them? So that's part of that whole, that motivation and self, disillusion garbage of just show people the plan. I hated that, and because there was no substance to it.
Yeah, there is no substance to it, and it also doesn't solve problems. So, like, sharing your product isn't serving your customer unless they know why you're sharing it. Mm-hmm. So, share from a place of conviction on your owner's intent and how it can serve this customer in this way, which is why rapport doesn't matter.
Okay, why doesn't it matter?
So, I'm going to use myself as an example because I know myself better than anyone. So if my owner's intent is I want to see people healed and I want to be a work from home mom with my kids, I need to know two things. One, can this comp plan help me achieve that goal? And two, do these products serve the scale of seeing people healed? And the answer is yes, because it's body image. And body image equals mental health. Healthy mindsets equals better decisions equals healed families and legacy. So when you're sharing with people, all you need to know is, can this product serve them? So I'm with a beauty MLM right now. Can this product help them feel better about themselves, and can they afford it? Mm-hmm. If I'm going at this from a place of service, I need to know those two things. I don't need to know anything else about them. I don't need to know what their job is. I just need to know, can this serve them or not? And if the answer is no, they're not the right fit.
When you're looking and evaluating, the one thing that concerns me, or I want to hear your viewpoint on this, can they afford this? One of the things that a lot of people look at is it's always a money objection, right? And customer-wise base, it's not. Is it our job to, air quotes, pre-qualify somebody for pay, or is that how you're aligning with the company to see whether or not, are you saying that you're looking at the prospects, wondering if they can afford it and improve their lives, or are you looking at it from a company perspective, going, hey, I'm with a company here that's prices are 3 times what a retail bottle of this would go for, so this doesn't align with my views because this clearly is, just out for profit versus improving people's lives. How are you looking at it when you ask yourself those two questions?
The answer is both.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that you need to look at when you're vetting an MLM is this product at a price point for the people you're trying to reach? Mm-hmm. So if I am trying to become a work from home mom, I should also consider what other work from home moms are willing to spend, whether it be in time or money. Is this going to benefit the demographic I'm trying to reach? And then if that changes, so let's say your MLM experiences or gives a price hike, it might be time to shift directions or say, hey, I need to start looking for something else. But when I'm talking about can they afford it, it's not to pre-qualify can they afford it. They will tell you whether or not they can afford it. And if the answer is no, then they're still not your customer. Mm-hmm. But picking an MLM that just because they have a product, having a product 3 times as much, and then the company justifying, well, it's part of, we're part of an MLM and this high price is because it goes back into our sales reps' pockets. That's not helping your customer.
No, it doesn't. When we're talking about
that, does not build trust either.
No, and you have to have a damn good reason why something would cost that much too. And then if you do, then you're a phenomenal salesperson. But I think it goes into manipulation and disingenuous, and I don't like that either. Mm-hmm. When it comes to duration of the company you're with, we see these mm-hmm. events, right? We see a lot of the health and beauty companies. What do you get? You get these, it targets women go to their social media, get a ring light and pose, hold up your bottle of such and such, flash your pearls, and smile at the camera. And now you got team girl power of boss babe and this and that stuff. And it's like, they're rooting themselves, they're aligning themselves with a company, which is great for the company, right? Because the company's now got free marketing, and because that's exactly what network marketing is, right? You're utilizing your market. But when you're putting your heart and your soul and your friendship and everything into a company, that's going to be an incredibly emotional potential petri dish of disaster, considering the fact that you're going to feel burned. If you don't make money, you're going to blame everybody else but yourself, and then you're not going to want to leave. So when you align with a company, can you talk about the importance of really taking the time to see if that company aligns with your needs, purposes, values, and so on?
Yeah, so there's 5 questions people should ask, and this is not an exclusive list. These are just the top 5 I think people should look at. Is, can you efficiently accomplish your mission statement with this company? Can you? Does it have a complicated comp plan? Are these products hard to use? Are they hard to explain? The only reason you're in this for money, it will not work. 2, does this company have social values that you can tolerate? And I truly mean tolerate. Okay. I don't mean like you have to come into alignment with, every single value they have, but can you tolerate it? There was a company that kind of stayed silent and then out of nowhere, went anti-police enforcement and wanted to reduce law enforcement. And that has to do with public security. And that company saw a loss of sales reps because they weren't supporting Homeland Security.
Wow.
On the flip side is there a company that has core values that you really resonate with? Okay, so let's take health and beauty. Are they supporting women outside of this company? Are they supporting homeless shelters? Are they making sure feminine products are for women who don't have access to them? How are they educating people in who don't have access to education? Do they have clean water initiatives? Is there something they're doing to give back that aligns with you and that you would like to do that maybe you couldn't do yourself, but this company has a big market share in, and by partnering with them, you can see these things happen. Is this mutually beneficial, these values? And then how do they communicate with their ambassadors or sales team? So if you go on Glassdoor, you can find reviews for any company of what it's like to work there and their corporate staff. So go Google this MLM, type in MLM's name, corporate behavior, and just see what the company is about. Have they been in lawsuits? Are they violating patents? Stuff like that. Go vet your company and make sure that they are a trustworthy company. And then finally, do they provide training and support? And then
most don't.
Right. And is this product at the price point of the people you want to reach?
It blows me away. You're talking about even going to Glassdoor and looking up. I always, every time I get involved with a network marketing company, it takes me a considerable time. It took me 6 months to decide to leave, a company I was with for 10 years to go to the one I'm with now. And I'm just so baffled how, okay, yeah, I'll try it. Can you talk about the dangers? Because if life coaching is a specialty of yours, I highly doubt people should try things. But can you talk about the dangers of self-fulfilling prophecies coming true if people are like, yeah, I'll try this MLM, and then they're going to fail, and see, it didn't work in the first place?
I don't think that's dangerous. I think it's bold as a leader to take on people whom you're going to have to deal with. So
that's an angle I didn't even see coming. I want to hear this. Go ahead.
So if there's someone who maybe they don't need to enroll for sales, maybe they just need to enroll for product. Cool. Let them enroll for product. But understand, as a leader, if you're going to have people in your business team, go ahead and set the standard. Say, here's how often I want you to share. Here's how you share. And then you need to figure out why you're sharing. You need to ask your team, okay, here's the company's corporate values. Where does this align with yours? And then if they're willing to do that work, cool. But someone failing or someone trying to naysay your company is not your problem.
Right.
That's their immature personal development problem. And you can't fix that.
That's a lot of people, sadly. I like this direction you're going because it was the opposite direction I was going. I was wondering about the person who's coming in and, I'll try this. If you're, obese and you're like, I'll try to go to the gym, you're going to go for that first 2 weeks of January and then you don't have a plan because you were trying it and then you left. I kind of want to take both angles here because I didn't even think about the direction you were going. The person who tries MLM, like anything else, what's the dangers of trying it? And then on the upline position, so the person who's above them, what is their position of, I'm going to have somebody come in, I'll set the standards and let them do what they want, versus constantly reaching out. And I know this is a 2-part long question. The problem I see with network marketing is the ones who are making the money will always have that stance of, well, you're going to work and show me that you earn my time. They will let people come to them. I have never done that. I will go to my people until they disappear on me. I will basically, they'll Houdini because if they can't take me calling them 3-4 times a week going, what do you need from me? How can I help you? Then we're not the right fit, but I will never make somebody chase me. So on both ends, the prospect, the new brand partner versus the leader, can you talk about both those roles and the lack of having a plan or trying, and how should they align?
So if you have someone who's coming in and they're just saying, hey, I'm here to try this and figure out what this is about. Let's just start with basic manners. If you have someone new on your team, don't be a snob. Reach out, extend hospitality, tell them who you are, how you're here to serve them, and then ask them what their intention is. If they say, hey, I'm just here to try this out, say, awesome, here's a resource kit for you. This is the way to get in touch with me if you have any questions. And then you leave them alone, because just like sales is a process, so is building a business. And when your business builders have questions for you, they will ask. Mm-hmm. But you're not responsible for them and their reaction to this company. They are responsible for their own sales. But if they genuinely need help or they genuinely have questions of like, hey, I see this product is coming out, I'm really not sure how I can word it. This is what I would like to say with this. Can I do this? They're going to ask you questions.
Is this a conversation that needs to be had in the beginning? My process is, this is my availability, my expectations. I map everything out. It's like I set the 7-course dinner, and I'll tell you, okay, at 7:05, this is coming out at 7:35. Then this course is coming out. I'll tell you that, but I can't make you sit down and eat. So without intimidating, if somebody's going to come in and say they're going to try, is it wrong for the person who enrolled to say, great, I know that you want to try, I know that your headspace isn't here yet. I just want to let you know what I offer for you and I'm available for you so that at some time it can align with what you need.
Yeah. I mean, Ellie, stop. Make the offer. Like, it's the same thing as sales. Make the offer, be a strong leader. And then, if they're in your training group, keep training. They can watch, not watch. But if they are looking for a strong leader, and they take hold of your conviction and they see where it applies to their life, the light bulb will go off and they will decide to lead, even in small measure. So I think this thing with MLMs of like, you have to go all out or not at all is another area where we lose people. So maybe you don't think, maybe your mindset is where you don't think you can have the $2.1 million per month. But maybe right now, all you need to do, and this is where I am, I know I can't be a national brand director for this company. I've only been in it 4 weeks. So I can't do that in 4 weeks. But as a mom who wants to work from home and put our kids in private school, right now, all I need to worry about is making sure that this MLM in this moment can help me cover school supplies.
That's a success. You succeed if that happens. And people need to stop looking at it as I'm going to be a millionaire. It's, dude, can you make a car payment a month? Well, yeah, I can. That's a massive success.
So I think when you're coming in from training and, availability, and here's the goals and here's the objectives, cool, you want to be a brand director. Where can we help you right now to see you grow forward?
That's a great question. That is a great question to ask. It kind of puts it puts the onus on the prospect coming in to be able to identify what their needs are.
Because do I want to be a national brand director with this MLM? Hell yes. Is that going to happen in 5 weeks? Absolutely not. It's just not. Rewards are issued over time. So we've got to give it time. But right now, let's honor the process of, doing the work, sharing, and then evaluating your goals. Okay, so you tell your people, here's the welcome kit. Here's how I'm available. I hear that you're just trying this out. Here's how you can reach me if you have any questions. We're still building. Join at any time. But then to figure out, your basic question, your intro question should always be, can this company help me accomplish my goals? And you can ask that question to your people. Hey, I see you've joined. Here's the values of this company. What goals are you trying to achieve with this? I'm just trying things out. Okay, so to me, that sounds like you're working on some personal development things. What specifically are you looking for? And then they'll tell you. The answer might actually be, I don't know, because they, honest to God, might not know.
These are great questions to ask as a leader. These are questions I have such a bad experience with the network marketing game that I wanted to be everything that I wasn't, or that I didn't get. So I want training. So I'm the bull. I'm very bullish, and I don't have a very soft approach. There's other people on my team who do have that soft approach. I like this because the psychology of it is I'm not one of those people who ever understood why isn't everybody confident? Why isn't everybody this and that? And it's because I overcompensate for the insecurities I had growing up. So now I project them very loudly. I like that softness of discovering together with your prospect their needs being met. That comes back to duration now. I tell people all the time, everybody, the thing I can't say on network marketing is when you prospect, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to enroll 2 people. And I get irritated with the glazing over of that statement. You're going to get 2 people, which makes people think oh, that could be done in a day. Mathematically, of course it can. I tell people all the time, I got involved with the company that I'm with, and 18 months went by before I enrolled a single person because life got in the way. It was everything from a potential move, a relationship ending. I was finishing up an election campaign, my job, everything, the status of being a cop. And it wasn't until I was ready that I started recruiting like crazy, because I made a conscious decision for total immersion. But that being said, a lot of other people, their skill sets develop under their time that they choose to put into it. What is their time evaluation? If somebody is going all out, they're changing their tactics, nothing is happening, and 6, 8, 9 months goes by and they haven't enrolled anybody, how do they start to look at, I got to pull out of this? Or should they? Because we know in traditional businesses, you might open up a coffee shop on the corner or something, and you might not get your first 5 customers for 2-3 weeks into it. And that's something that's visually available that a good portion of the company wants. This is more of a niche market.
So that goes back to their goals. All right. So if you're 6 to 8 months in and you know what you're about, you need to evaluate, are you communicating these needs and how this serves your people? So I'm going to use myself again as an example. My owner's intent is to be a work from home mom. So there's going to be months where I'm not actually focused on sales volume. It's focused on enrollments. So everything I do for that month is going to be, here's how you can join this company. Here's how it will serve you. This can make your life better. Do you have any questions? So there's going to be ebbs and flows of what you share in each season or even each month or each week, depending on the cycles of your MLM, to help you achieve your goals. And maybe you just don't know how to do it. At the end of the day, you just might not know how. And that's okay. Go get outside training outside of your MLM. I did not understand sales until I went to sales school and figured this out. It did not come from an MLM. It came from a third party. So if you have full conviction of your product and what you're doing, go get third party training and then don't quit.
That's kind of vague though, right? Because we hear that it's the truth. People just don't understand it. Don't quit. But what does that mean? I mean, you're looking at, but I'm doing, you hear this all the time. I'm doing everything I can. My standards are high, right? And it does. I have people, well, you're single, you have no kids, you have this time on your hands, you work from home. You can call 30, 40 people a day. Yeah, I can. But if that's my stand, I know what I want. I want to earn, my goals are 50 grand a week, right? I want a massive team. I have these audacious, massive goals. I want to be the #1 millionaire creator in the history of this industry. And that is huge, right? It's an impossible goal that's going to take me 20 years. But that being said, I can't quit because every time it's like, all right, I'm not doing it. I'm doing everything I can to make this dream grow. No, you're not. I know that I don't have that excuse. So what's the self-introspective look that people have to say? Because quitting's definitive. I make people tell me in texts, I don't think this is working out for me. Good. Tell me, and I put in quotes, I quit, because I want them to see themselves writing that out. Tell me about the decision process that needs to be made to say those two words.
So I think closure is important. What you're talking about of like, okay, go ahead and write this down, seal this and be done. Closure is important. But when you're talking about shifting MLMs, or maybe this is not the goal for you, keep this in mind. It's not just MLMs that fail. The average lifespan of a restaurant is 4.5 years. Most entrepreneurs fail after their first 3 years. It takes 5 years to build a brand. So you're looking at 6 months of like slow growth when you're not going to see changes until probably year 5. Truly. And I know that sounds like, what do you mean? This is a time process, but here's when I think you should shift MLMs. Let me find my notes real quick.
You're right about the 3 to 5 years. I owned a gym, a little 2,700 square foot gym. I owned it for 3 years. During those 3 years, 1 month I profited. Every other month cost me money. So when it came down to renew the lease on the gym, I did my 3 years. I was still focused on, law enforcement and other things. It was time for me. I had to make that decision to quit the business. But yeah, if it's another 3 years of doing it, that would have been ridiculous. But yeah, people need to understand it. Even in brick and mortar, it's extremely time consuming.
So if you need to walk, you need to walk. But here's like the red flags you should look for when it's time to actually leave a company. 1, has their communication or leadership changed? Did the CEO die? Has there been a lag in production? Are they coming up with excuses of why they're not delivering their product? Have they stopped communicating with leaders altogether, or has communication changed to be very infrequent? 2, is the comp plan still achievable? Will this compensation plan help you achieve your goals like it did at the beginning? Because there are times where this does change. 3, has there been a price increase that hurts your customers? If your product is already complicated and then there's a price increase, this is going to hurt customers. And it's okay for you as a leader to look after your people and say, hey, I've got to revisit things. 4, is there still a market for this product? Back in the day, Pampered Chef was like the killer for all home goods and like home and kitchen wares. But the need for high quality kitchen goods diminished once Target came on the scene. Like Target and the internet changed this MLM. And then 5, have they changed political or social values? I shared about another company that decided to speak against Homeland Security, and they lost a lot of distributors and ambassadors. these are things you should do in here. These are things you should look at a company, and these are valid reasons to leave. And I want to say this about MLMs. There's like this tribalism that comes in when you decide to join a team. It's like people equate a paycheck as a blood oath. Like, you signed up under my team and you get paid for this. And this is what this company has poured into you. And now you're leaving. And like, respectfully, calm the fuck down.
Yeah. It's a cult.
You can get a paycheck anywhere. So like if you had to take time off, or like, hey, this company and how they've made changes is causing you physical or mental harm, you should probably shift. It's just a paycheck, and you can go get a paycheck anywhere, including a W-2 job. And it's okay for you to have a W-2 job. I have one right now. A paycheck does not equal a blood oath. And there are times when you need to look at what you're doing and say, okay, this actually is not serving me and the goals I set out for.
It's a big common problem we have in the industry. That being said, talk about the pressures or alignment of, I get this all the time. People always will DM me, dude, you would kill it with our company, but I'm killing it with mine. I mean, and then they want you to, they'll pressure you to get your whole team up and moved, right? What is and I had a conversation with somebody, a friend of mine, who's like, dude, you kill at our company, this and that. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate this, because I will always hear somebody else out. I always want to hear them pitch me, close me, because I'm always want to sharpen my skills to be like, ooh, how do I sound against that? So I've always got my methods for why I want somebody to pitch me. But then I always ask this question: how would it look if I built my entire team on this company, and then I said, all right, hey guys, we're going to go over this for this opportunity? It makes me look like that person who's jumping from MLM to MLM. And that's how a lot of these people make their money, because they get in, everybody gets underneath them. You get that first initial boost. And that's why you have the misinformation of only the people who come in, make the money. No, it's the Pied Piper mentality. Do you have any experience or thoughts on the not leaving just because, you get pitched by another person in MLM that way?
Well, yeah, I use discernment. Okay, like just because they say that you would be good at this doesn't mean you actually would be good at it. And just because this company does have an opportunity doesn't mean it's actually aligned with your values. But when the tribalism comes in, it's like, okay, the only reason you should leave is because this does not align with your values. That's it. It is either causing you harm or doesn't align with your values. And as a leader, you can say, hey guys, I am leaving. Here's the new person at the top. So, depending on how your corporate structure is, the person underneath you would then become the leader in charge. You're in good hands here. I'm going to go start another team. And then you don't poach because you're a person of integrity. But if you're looking at a company that's poaching and asking whole teams to leave, what that tells you automatically is there's a red flag and that they aren't trustworthy.
I like it. All right. I always like to have solutions, right? In the last couple of minutes. Mm-hmm. Tell me your 3 biggest concerns, issues, or things that you would like to see grow, improve, or change in the network marketing industry. And what would you do if you had like the Empress staff of the world to change those? What would you do? But before you do, again, tell everybody where they can wind up connecting with you. If they want to be, a part of what you do, find out how they can connect with you more. Where can they reach out at?
So I'm Nicole at Raw Truth Company. And my website has the same name, rawtruthcompany.com.
If you like what Nicole has to say, you want to hear more about her, you want to find out what her values and alignment is, and if she sounds like somebody you'd be good fit for in the industry, make sure you wind up going and reaching out to her. rawtruthcompany.com, Raw Truth Company over on Instagram. But all right, give me your 3 things.
Okay, so I want to talk about practical tips to help people achieve sales goals. Number 1. To increase sales, you actually do have to increase engagement. And there is a way to do this on Instagram, and I know it works. And it's this: create original content and original text and marry it with trending audio. You will go viral. I have 3x'd my engagement in 3 weeks. Share with conviction, and you're going to share in 2 ways. You're going to share how to use your product, and then you're going to share why this works. And if you are doing this with a company that's aligned, you will see an increase in sales. I have been with this company for 5 weeks, and in the first 3 weeks, I already hit rank.
I want to go back to the creating social content with a text and audio. You're hardwiring, right? You're reaching senses off the bat. It's proven. What you said is 100% true. Can you talk about the conversion? The problem that so many people have is they'll put out content just because it gets a million views. It's still up to them to be able to reach. People are not going to slide in your DMs and go, "Oh my gosh, I want to join your business." People still have to actively go out and bridge that connection, right?
Right. So that's where sharing comes in. After you create your content, share the offer. Okay, share the offer. And if you don't create an offer for people to take advantage of, guess what? They don't know it's there. So it is your job as the sales professional and as the leader to tell people what you're about. So if you have a product that meets a need, you need to share that product that meets the need in a way that is effective and beneficial for them.
Do you feel? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Without sharing and without telling people about your product, they do not know. And so when I took the sales training course, they said, by the time you're sick of it, people are just now figuring it out. So you must share consistently and often. And when you share with conviction and you share often in an effective way, you will see sales.
Do you feel comfortable because I don't like ever giving away anything for free, but do you feel comfortable in talking about, you put up a content, it got viral, and now you have this full funnel of, a new 50,000, 500,000 viewers. Do you just slide into somebody's DM and say, "Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm with this company. I think it could change your life"? Do you feel comfortable about how you bridge that gap and make that connection first? Do you have a methodology for that?
Yeah. So what I do is I ask questions in my stories. And let's be clear, like going viral does not mean 50,000. Going viral just means 1 to 2 times the normal amount of engagement you typically get. So before I started doing original content with trending audio, I was getting maybe 300 to 700 views on my reels. Now I'm almost up to 5,000.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge jump. Massive.
Yeah, that's a big jump. But let's take value in something under 5K. Okay, there's still value in this. This is still the humble beginnings. This is still the growth moment. But progress is a slight uptick in whatever you were doing before. Okay, so let's honor this progress. But once you have created this original content, start asking your audience questions about themselves. So with these beauty products that I'm selling, I will ask them, do you want to save time and money? Yes. Do you do you feel confident in how long it takes you to get dressed in the morning? If there is a way for you to feel really cute and you want to feel some kind of way, do you have something to help you feel that way in the mornings? And then take your products and go have fun with them. So like we just released a new collection of products and I asked my audience, did you listen to Spice Girls when you were a kid? And if you were a Spice Girl, which one did you pretend to dress up as?
I had a crush on the redhead. Yeah.
Ginger. Yeah. Yes. And then if there was a way for you to take your favorite Spice Girl and kind of have a way to dress up as her as an adult, would you want to know more about that? And then they're going to respond. And then the ones that respond, send them a DM. Hey, thanks for participating in my poll. Is this something you'd like to know more about?
You're asking
and
questions.
Then be patient.
You're asking questions. All right, close us out. Tell us the most important thing that somebody could do right now in this stage of your MLM journey. What's the most important thing for you that you want to share with other people?
It is not about you. It is about your owner's intent and how it benefits others.
It's pretty damn simple. I love it. That sound of the bull means that this episode is over. This is the Bull of MLM Network Marketing Warfare podcast. If you guys want, if you liked or saw massive value in what Nicole had to say, make sure you go to rawtruthcompany.com or go to Raw Truth Company on Instagram. Get a hold of her. Nicole, we're definitely having you back on. We have a lot more to talk about. Other than that, you guys have a great damn day, and we'll see you on the next episode.